News every 15 minutes, weather every 10, and sports twice an hour.
Newstalk, KGVO, AM 1290 and now 101.5 FM.
You're listening to Montana Morning with Peter Christian.
Smoke is plaguing western Montana valleys, but that's not all. There's a red flag warning for an incoming storm system. Good morning, everyone. It's Montana Morning. Congratulations, you made it. It's Friday, August 21st, 2015. Just don't breathe too deeply. Scratchy throats, watery eyes, headaches still continue to plague folks around western Montana with the air quality being unhealthy. We'll get to that in a moment. First of all, our newscast is sponsored by Herbert and Gerbert's Sandwich Shop. Open on Higgins Avenue next to the Big Dipper. Stop in for a signature sandwich or stay right where you are for local delivery. Smoke continues to clog the skies over western Montana, which caused air quality monitors to drop Missoula's air quality rating to unhealthy yesterday. According to Sarah Cofield with Missoula City County Health Department, the air is the worst it's been for many years, but the real hazard could be its duration.
It's certainly the worst it's been in Missoula for the last few years. 2012 was a really rough year, and that was also difficult because the smoke started to hit us right before school started, and it stuck around into October. It's not the worst that I've seen. We have seen worse air, but it has potential to stick around for a long time.
Cofield explains what this means for Missoula residents.
The air quality is unhealthy. What it means is the concentrations of the pollutant in the air are sufficient that it could aggravate heart or lung disease. It leads to premature death for folks who have respiratory and cardiac issues, as well as some of the elderly. So the next step that's worse than this is very unhealthy, when we pretty much want everybody starting to avoid going outside as much as possible. And if it gets hazardous, then absolutely people need to stay inside. If you have an air purifier, use it, and avoid being exposed to smoke as much as possible.
In many ways, Missoula's better off than other areas. Hamilton, Kalispell, and Libby are all facing very unhealthy warnings. And in a related story, Missoula's air quality definitely plays a part in the local school district's policies. School District 1 Superintendent Mark Thane was on Talkback yesterday, and this says the district does have an air quality protocol.
We link directly to the Boyd Park monitoring station. On an hourly basis, we assess the air quality. We make a judgment call on whether or not students should be outdoor for recesses, lunchtime. The same is true right now with our fall sports, which were initiated. We look prior to any practice times to see what the air quality is and make determinations on whether or not students can be outside or whether they have to do indoor or modified practices.
Air quality has been rated unhealthy at times in the last few days. School starts next week in Missoula, but practices for athletic teams are already underway. The Napoleon Fire burning along the Bull River Highway, that's north of Knoxon, threatening multiple homes there. John Head is the fire information officer on the Napoleon Fire. He says many have already been evacuated.
We had these series of fires starting from a lightning storm that came through late last week up on some pretty heavily timbered north slopes above the Bull River. Probably had a half a dozen starts up there that started getting pretty big right away. Given where they're located and the fire behavior we're seeing in the private land and homes down below, our decision was to focus on a defensive zone down along that area.
Head says containment isn't even a question right now, as firefighters are playing defense, which is now over 2,500 acres of the fire. Swiftly spreading, evacuation notices began Wednesday, with more standby evacuations delivered yesterday.
Well, the evacuation zone is from mile marker 14 down to mile marker 8 on the south end of Bull River Highway. And within that zone, I think there were 17 residents in there. And those people were all evacuated with the help of the Sheriff's Department. We could see this fire grouped in with a larger complex of fires when we transition to a Type 2 team later tonight.
Another 30 homes were on standby for evacuation around noon yesterday. Well, let's continue on. Residents of Essex and the surrounding areas, that's up around Glacier Park, are preparing themselves to evacuate due to a nearby fire called the Sheep Fire. Public Information Officer Jennifer Rankowski says residents have been informed that they're at the set stage of Ready, Set, Go action plan.
The Sheriff's Office has been up to Essex for the past 2 days doing door-to-door pre-evacuation. They've already readied the residents up there, and now they're at the set. just preparing them that if the fire was to make a run there, that they could then just go. We just like to plan. It really depends on the weather. It's going to depend on the winds, but we want them to be prepared.
Rankowski says even more than 70 residents were notified about the evacuation, and the deputies are ready nearby if the fire gets too close.
They're done going door to door, and I believe that they are stationed up in that area in case they have to go to the go section so that they can do notifications for that. As
of yesterday afternoon, no evacuations were announced, but around 200 structures are threatened. Authorities have closed a 7-mile stretch of U.S. Highway 2 and a major rail corridor as that wildfire we just mentioned approaches. Flathead County Emergency Information Officer Jennifer Rankowski says the highway and railway were closed near Essex yesterday afternoon when embers began falling on the roadway. Australia and New Zealand are sending firefighters to help battle wildfires burning in the western U.S. The National Interagency Fire Center in Boise announced yesterday top fire managers representing various U.S. agencies requested about 70 fire managers and specialists from those two countries. Details are still being worked out, but the firefighters are expected to arrive in Boise on Sunday. Hospitals around the state have agreed to donate more than $80,000 to Healthy Mothers, Healthy Babies so the organization can continue an education program aimed at preventing shaken baby injuries and deaths after a state board decided not to renew its funding. Clementine Lindley of Billings is vice chair of the Montana Children's Trust Fund. She said yesterday the board did not renew its contract with Healthy Mothers, Healthy Babies and decided to evaluate whether the work can be improved under another program. The education program, by the way, is required under state law. A spokesman with the Department of Public Health and Human Services says the agency would be meeting the law's requirements. And the family of a man fatally shot by Yellowstone County Sheriff's deputies has filed a wrongful death lawsuit. The sheriff's office has said Christopher Rudolph and Jason Robinson shot 28-year-old Lauren Simpson south of Huntley on January 8th. The Billings Gazette newspaper reports the county officials have yet to respond to the suit, which was filed August 8th. The lawsuit names Robinson and Rudolph, Sheriff Mike Linder, and Yellowstone County, as well as 10 John Does as defendants. The suit claims the two deputies were malicious and violated federal law, including the 4th and 14th Amendments. It also says Linder had policies in place that allowed the use of excessive force. Our News Talk time now, 6:12.
Newstalk, KGVO.
Missoula's official weather station.
Areas of smoke today with our temperatures in the mid-70s. Winds will be breezy out of the southwest at 5 to 15 miles per hour. We'll see wind gusts topping 30 this afternoon. I'm meteorologist Brooke Foster for Missoula's KECI 13.